Hi there, meteorologist Ed Valley here. Quick South American video for you. One more coming your way next week, and then we're probably going to taper these off unless we hear otherwise. We've heard the weather down there is becoming less and less relevant, so we're going to behave as accordingly, right? So, looking here at the last 30 days, we're going to just run through some precip information and give a status report, and then look at the next 7 to 10 days and even a little bit into the beginning of April. And then we will wrap it up. So you can see the last 30, good rain in Argentina and southern Brazil as well as central Brazil. But you see the localized minimums, Mato Grosso do Sul eastward into Sao Paulo. And this area here, even into Minas as well, this area is really the only area struggling with moisture. You look at the totals. Good rains down south. Of course, there's some localized differences. But you notice that central zone here of Brazil on the drier side, scattered rains up in central Brazil as well. And just taking a peek here at the last couple months, and I want to just touch on this because I think, it's important that we touch on it. Because you look at Argentina, we were good up until right around the turn of the year. We had decent rain, generally better than last year. But right around that turn of the year, we actually saw a downward trend in that moisture. Obviously, that's a very important time as especially corn is starting to reproduce. And you notice over time we did see better rains to end the season. That was the takeaway. But notice largely, except for that small downturn around the middle of January, with all that heat we saw as well, it's been a better year than last year. But moving northward, you notice Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, not so. We started off better, but really, really struggled here in the second half of the season. Moving north, actually, we'll touch on Paraná first. You notice really good start, really good, even really good right until pretty much the end of the year. But then again, this period of January was dry, and compared to last year, obviously last year we picked up more rain in January and Feb, so we have seen a lower rainfall compared to last year, but we are seeing that recover here now. Obviously too late, but still something to note. And then finally, you look at Mato Grosso do Sul. This area, again, has really struggled in January and February. Starting to see an uptick now. That'll continue, but still something to discuss. And then again, Mato Grosso, you've seen good moisture pretty much the entire year, typical of a La Nina. Okay, so with that said, as we look at the next 7 to 10 days, let's kind of roll through this, and we'll get you what you need to know. And we're going to basically see the rains really start to come on strong tomorrow and into the day on Wednesday, Thursday. A pretty significant storm system moving through Argentina and southern Brazil, bringing heavy rain with it. That continues into Friday across Brazil. We're going to dry it out down in parts of South America, or southern South America by the weekend. But you notice 1 to 3 inches of rain, eastern Argentina, Paraguay, Rio Grande do Sul, parts of Mato Grosso do Sul, and Paraná. Good rains in parts of southern Brazil here. Central Brazil also seeing some good rains. Minas, that's the driest area here moving into the weekend. And as we press on beyond that period, you notice into next week, most of that precipitation is up in Brazil. Some scattered rains in Argentina, but we are going to dry out relative to this week as we get into next week across Argentina. Now, you look at the GFS through that same time. Let me show you total precip on the Euro through day 10. Most of this, like I said, comes in the next few days in Argentina and southern Brazil. But good rains in Brazil, well watered. And you look at the GFS, pretty darn similar when you see, again, the eastern part of Argentina, southern Brazil, heavy rain. A little bit less in Mato Grosso do Sul, but still pretty solid. And then good rains in central Brazil as well. So again, for Safrina, this continues to look well watered. And as we look here at the MJO moving forward, we're going from phase 4 to phase 5, and then eventually to phase 1 as we head into early April. What does that mean? Well, phase 4, definitely pretty wet down south. Most of Brazil is pretty wet, except for, again, Minas. That's kind of the reason for some of that drier weather out in east central Brazil. And then you look at phase 5, again, pretty scattered rains, and you look at phase 1 even, Brazil continues to look pretty well watered. Temperature-wise, no extreme heat in phase 4 or 5. Really not a lot at all. Maybe as we get into phase 1, we warm up in parts of Argentina. But that's a story for another day. Because in the meantime, I think we are going to stay pretty well watered. And generally speaking, we're going to continue to see pretty favorable rainfall. You notice the next 15 days here. Near normal rain in central Brazil, above normal in southern Brazil and eastern Argentina. And you look at those temperatures during that time. and you'll notice a lot of cool weather. So limited heat stress expected here through the first week of April. So that's what we got for you today. Have a great week. We'll be back here next week with one final video for the season. Have a great day.